The hobby has a short memory, but some stories should never fade away. Today, we're covering 4 scandals that the card world has moved on from, but probably shouldn't have. What is up, Retromaniacs? My name is Mike, his name's Joe, his name's EP, and the hobby forgets stuff fast. And that's a problem, right? Because if you forget stuff, you let stuff become accepted behavior. So why does the hobby forget stuff so quickly? That's what we're going to talk about today. First thing I'm going to bring up was a little situation that happened actually in May of 2023. I cannot believe this has been almost 3 years ago. But the Panini Headquarters break-in. You don't hear anything about this. There was a lot said at the time. A lot came out about it. There were 4 data servers stolen and multiple storage devices that were stolen. It's never been solved. It's never been updated, the story at all. And you hear literally nothing about it. I remember reading an article at the time. There was a lawyer that said that this was absolutely a job to steal information from them. A lot of the rumors at the time, the rumors that, that was the time period where Fanatics was hiring away Panini employees. Maybe it was an ex-employee. Maybe it was Fanatics doing it. Maybe it was Panini doing it itself. But nothing. There is literally nothing. I was searching for any kind of news update on this. Happened in May of 2023. Zip. Nothing. How can that be in 2025?
That's crazy. That was almost a year and a half ago now at this point. That's kind of crazy. Kind of puts perspective on how long we've been doing this show or this channel. It actually, too, another part of this, which because we just talked about the Probstein stuff again on Monday's show, like you don't know what was on those data servers. There could have been information for people that have signed up for Panini on those data servers. So you don't know if someone has some personal information of people that signed up for the Panini Directs or whatever the case might be. So that's another thing. It's like, again, just close your eyes. Don't think about it. It'll be fine. We'll move on. And then meanwhile, a year and a half later, you're like, wait a minute. Why does someone from Russia have all of my personal information? And it's I don't know. So that's kind of scary from that perspective. But every YouTube content creator talked about this story for a couple of weeks, and then bam, it was gone like that. And gone from Panini too. Like they don't talk about it at all.
Nobody.
Which is very strange. Like if you were the one that someone was breaking into your facility, stealing stuff, maybe, you know what, boys, I think I know what they stole. They stole the technology. Fanatics stole the technology to do the Dutch auctions. Solved. Now we know. Oh my. I think that's got to be it, right?
Has to be. Absolutely.
Well, I have another theory. I think they might have stolen the Panini game plan, not just the Dutch auctions, the entire game plan. They needed multiple databases. Just say make the most money you can, screw over the collector, make the most money you can. I think that's what they had on all those databases that was stolen. So I wonder if the people that they hired away were the people that could answer the questions. Like the fact that Panini, like Joe said, the fact that Panini hasn't said anything about this, like, and you would think that, especially with the way our brains work, is we create these rumors like, oh my gosh, it was just a Fanatics thing, an inside job, whatever. Like the fact Panini's not saying anything means either something really important was on there or something completely like innocuous was on there, right? So either way, like it'd be interesting to get a resolution to this for sure.
It had to be somebody who would have a reason to steal data. Like a regular criminal's not walking into the Panini Headquarters looking to steal data servers.
Right.
So
they're walking out with cases of national treasures. They're not walking out with data.
Yeah,
servers.
like
right.
Somebody to gain a competitive advantage, or like, not saying Fanatics did it, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody got that information to maybe get it to Fanatics. But like, it makes no sense. It was like $200,000 worth of equipment. but they didn't steal $200,000 cash.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't see people targeting a company like that to steal the data servers to, sell the secondary on the black market, this, secondhand computer stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, I feel personally like it was probably somebody who may have been an ex-employee that got hired away, that was mad about something, that still had access to, like, they had to know where the stuff was too, I would guess.
Could have been an ex-employee who got fired too.
Yeah,
like, if you got hired away, chances are you're feeling great because you got hired away by Fanatics. It's going to have this hobby by the throat for another 20 years. Maybe if you got fired and you're not hireable, maybe you have more ideas to screw with Panini than you otherwise would. But the problem is we're all kind of spitballing here. We have our own headcanon of what happened because no one's talking about it. There's no resolution. I don't think there's any police report resolution for it either. I mean, is this something that just randomly a year from now we're like, oh, 3 people were arrested for breaking into the Panini's headquarters? And again, I think we mentioned this on the show that we talked about it. How do you not have cameras?
Yeah. How? They had to have cameras.
You're a company that is in charge at the time, in charge of a kind of $1 billion industry, right? One of the biggest players in this industry, and you didn't have cameras at your headquarters. That's why I'm thinking there's more to this story than any of us will ever know.
That's why Fanatics hired Eugene Ponderosa to go in Mission Impossible style. Put all the servers on his horse, on the saddlebags of his horse. And
if there is not AI generated slop coming at us from our viewers of that whole thing that was described, I will be very disappointed.
Yeah, very disappointed. Okay. Another big story that people have kind of forgotten about, and this one's really important. This one goes back to the summer of 2024 when a company called Industrial Inspection and Consulting made it known that they have a service, easy for me to say, that scans boxes and packs of cards. This was a big deal at the time. I feel like this should be a bigger deal now because I've seen the stuff that Fanatics is putting out. It's not getting any cheaper, right? Mm-hmm. So the products that are coming out and the high-end stuff, this is something that absolutely, I guarantee you, is still going on because I went to the website of this company. The website has grown quite a bit, and they're now called the X-Ray Authority, and they have opened up some other services. They've expanded their business since this was originally talked about. We're buying stuff if you're buying boxes on eBay of anything that could be searched, you're just lighting your money on fire. Just don't do that. But I feel like this one is probably one of the worst things because this is probably going on more than it was in the summer of 2024. And because everybody's forgotten about it, it's okay to do now.
It's 100% been normalized, right? Like, and like you said, don't buy individual boxes on eBay. I don't buy individual boxes from some of the big distributors either. I mean, I'm not saying there's absolutely no proof, none whatsoever, that any individual is doing anything shady. But protect yourself, be a vigilant consumer. We preach that all the time here. So the fact that it's potential that a box over the service was cheap too. From what I remember when we talked about it the first time, the service was not unrealistic for a product that what do we think? Like a $500 box of cards someone would consider doing, $1,000 box of cards, old stuff from, Tom Brady's rookie year, things like that. Like anything and everything with the exception. Well, I don't know. I was going to say with the exception of like Donruss, but downtowns are in there. I mean, so like anything, if there's the ability to scam someone and make money from it, this will always be something that the hobby embraces because a lot of the people in the hobby think, well, I could do that. I could scan some stuff. So as these products with just more and more expensive hits and these more and more expensive. You okay down there, EP?
Yep, fine.
All right. These more and more expensive hits that are coming out, and these chases and these different bounties. I mean, what can you trust that they're not gonna scan and potentially screw over the consumer?
The crazy thing for me, the thing about this is this company just kind of like said, "Hey, this is going on, and this is going on," but it's probably been going on for a lot longer, right? Like we just been in the shadows. Like it was in the shadows for how long? Like how long have people known this?
I'm sure it was going on before we originally found out about it.
Yeah.
And it hasn't stopped.
Right. So we've only gotten more so, and it's gotten more so and more so. And I agree that, you know, don't buy boxes of cards if you're expecting to get a one of one or of whatever. Like if there is a very high, like let's just say, I was going to say very high end, but Joe, you make a good point. Like the service didn't seem outrageous. Like if you're buying a case of Top Series 1 or buying 5 cases of Top Series 1, you can scan those five cases and find out which one has the best hit in it, keep that case so the other one's at a profit or whatever, and then get your big hit out of the one. Like you could totally see that happening with even the lower end stuff. So it's very like this one affects so many parts of the hobby, so many things in the hobby, especially people like us who love, you know, we loved rip packs back in the day. Like that just was our thing. And now we really
it's
can't
still a thing. I mean, I just opened up a case of Batman Metal where we're doing a break of Game of Thrones. I mean, I mean anyone could go out and do this. And again, the fact that no one's talking about it makes me think that a lot of people are using it and they don't want people to talk about it, because this is one thing we have to put into perspective too. We're in this bubble, right? Like we are in this bubble of knowledge because we consume a lot of the sports card content that our fellow content creators put out. We are locked in, keyed into the big news stories of the week. We know all of this stuff that, you know, whether or not you agree with our opinions, we at least can talk about these news items and give that information to you. How many people actually are as locked into the hobby as people who watch this content? Those people are the ones who are ultimately getting screwed the most, because they don't know that if you buy a box on eBay of say a box of National Treasures, you don't know if it was scanned, and you don't even know that that's an option that someone could do because you don't watch hobby content like this. So that to me is the most dangerous part of this whole CT scanning thing, is that there's so many people who just don't even know that that's something that's a thing. And we're lucky, and our viewers who watch our content and watch other content creators stuff, they at least are a little bit more keyed into it. But man, if you have no clue, ignorance is bliss, I guess, a little bit, but you are just throwing your money away, unfortunately.
The sad part too is because this stuff gets forgotten about, people don't talk about it, people are able to do it, but also manufacturers don't react to it. Here we are over a year past when this story first broke, and you haven't heard one thing from any manufacturer about how they're making their $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 box of cards like CT scan proof. Like there has to be things a company can easily do. If you're selling a box of cards for over $1,000, I'm kind of thinking maybe you could build that into your cost somehow and still make money on it. You're not going to lose money and go out of business. So the fact that these stories just come out and get forgotten about, just like everything else in the hobby, allows not only the bad people to keep doing it, but even the people who could change it, it keeps them from doing what they should do to change it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about this. I'm sure we did. But this was the cause of the juice boxes too, probably, right? In a lot of cases, like because these breakers were scanning them and they knew where the good stuff was, so they became, all of a sudden, certain breakers came out of nowhere and just went bananas because they were pulling all the good stuff because they were possibly getting them scanned. Like you could totally see. I'm not saying that actually happened, but I could see a scenario where that led to the juiced boxes cases of whatever year that was, 2023 or whatever, 2021.
Well, speaking of breakers, next little thing I'm going to talk about, number 3 on our list, was the backyard breaks. Let's call it drama. Grant Telford was on a live stream said some absolutely disgusting stuff. A lot of people were really mad about it. Went away for a little bit, came back shortly after. Everything's back to normal. Everything's been, I don't want to say forgotten, because I still do see on social media quite a bit of people that still bring that up and mention it. But in terms of the people who, the people involved, the people that make money with him, the people that have financial ties with him, the people that break with him, it's done. It's over and forgotten. There was never any price paid. Just, again, you can be whatever you are in this hobby. And if you're making money for and with other people, you're always going to have a home, no matter what you do. I don't know what you could do. I don't even know if you decided to get rid of somebody, if that would get rid of you. It's just crazy what people are allowed to get away with. He returned, went right back to business as usual. This is the one that really, really is gross to me. But like, when you look at some of the most popular breakers, they're this, like, I hate to say it this way, but there's like a breaking culture. Like, they want it a certain way. They want loud and yelling and saying controversial things, and people like to be in that room. It's like a bunch of dudes just having a blast with no rules. And unfortunately, there's a segment of people who like to break with people where that's the way they do it.
We're right now, like it or hate it. And I'm sure there are some people who watch us who like it. We're in a very bro culture world right now, right? So some of the biggest podcasts outside the hobby are very bro culture, and that's how they can get away with it. We talked about on Monday about how a card purchaser put out a poll: will you ever buy from Probstein again? And it was like 90% said no. And I call bullshit on that. I called it out on Monday, and I'll call it out again. Same thing here. Like, there was probably a segment of people who were like, oh no, I would never break with Backyard Breaks again. Bullshit. Because if especially, a story that we talked about a couple years before this even was them getting juice cases, like you had mentioned, EP. Yeah, no, I think I made the joke at the time. If a breaker is getting juice cases, why would you break with anyone else? That's kind of stupid on your part. So there's a segment of people who probably never broke with them. Oh no, I'll never break with them. Well, you probably never did, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's a segment of when this stuff came out, it's locker room talk or whatever bullshit excuse you want to use for some really weird, strange,
really weird, yeah,
awkward
stuff
discussion.
That doesn't come out of a normal person's psyche,
right? Like, so the fact that there are probably some people who are just going to plow right through those comments and not care, I'm surprised. I would be surprised if the people who broke with them cared about this story 10 minutes after it broke. Right? Like, we're talking about something that happened a year and a half ago, and we're like, people should remember these things. The people that are breaking with Backyard Breaks, they stopped caring about this seconds after it happened.
Oh yeah,
half of them probably liked it. Half of them probably.
They were getting. We know for a fact that they were getting baited by some of the people in the comments and the other breaker while this was happening. So clearly they don't care. And again, if you have your base, your supporters, you don't care about the 90% of the people out there that will never break with you, because you have your core group that'll keep making you money every single time you have a product available for breaks. So why would they care? There's no consequences to it.
Mike, when you were talking about the culture and called them dudes, I thought of another D word, douchebags. and ends with douchebags. And I think there are a lot of douchebags out there in the hobby. And I think we also said the word normal, and I thought you should put normal around air quotes, because normal in the hobby is scammers going to scam. They are people that are scanning boxes and scanning cases. There are companies that are just all they care about is profit. They don't care about the collectors. Like, that is normal in our hobby right now, and I think that is why these things get swept under the rug, because it's just normal. It's just what we're like trained to deal with. Like, and it's terrible, but here we are.
I mean, and it's our society in general, like cryptocurrency and like the stock market with the AI bubble and all this stuff and cards. A lot of this stuff, like it's just make money. I don't care about who it is, what it is. I just want to make money. I'll invest in it. I don't care if there's anything actually here that I'm investing in or not. I'm going to invest in it. I'm going to invest in these cards. Oh, these guys pulled the best cards. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm going to make money. I got to do my thing. And like that's just prevalent in our society right now. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised at all that it comes down to this level, but still, some things to say are just gross.
We're surprised because we know what the hobby was like back in the, not that there wasn't scamming and stuff going on, but it wasn't nearly to this level back when the 90s, like it was just a different time, a different place, more innocent. I mean,
I could almost like give a pass to scamming compared to this. Like, honestly, like scamming is always going to happen. Whenever there's money involved, you just got to be vigilant. You have to put some of the stuff on yourself a little bit as a consumer. You have to know what you're looking for. Scamming's one thing. There's always been and always will be scamming in this hobby, no matter what. Weird, gross comments. That's so on a different like planet, right? Why? That's not even a scam. That's just being weird.
It is, but it's also a mindset thing too. Like that whole point where I can get away with it, kind of thought process too, though. Like, as much as it is weird to say, like most people if that popped into their heads wouldn't say it out loud, but he said it and he got away with it. And I'm sure at the time, maybe there was a moment when he said it, he's like, oh gosh, I just said it out loud.
I doubt it. No, I don't think so.
Not. It's possible.
But, I believe, like, I just honestly feel like you create an environment where you don't fear saying anything. And right. I mean, again, that's a microcosm of our world anymore. Social media long ago kind of did away with people's like worry about saying something. We're old. If we said something before social media that somebody doesn't like, you risk getting punched in the face.
Right.
You don't. So, boy, I sound old. Well, you talk about scamming. That brings us to scandal number 4, card cleaning. Remember when Kurt's Card Care and all that stuff was a big deal? I went back to try to find, I believe it was spring of 2024 when PSA finally came out and said that, yes, like using card cleaning products is altering a card. Spring of 2024. Fast forward to spring of 2025, that was when PSA was sending out a questionnaire asking if you would pay to have your cards cleaned. Now, they supposedly clarified that meant just like removing fingerprints and dust and stuff, but
which they should be doing anyway, which they do anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of silly. Yeah. But the Kurt's Cards Care, everybody knows what that is. I have long ago realized that I'm the dinosaur in this situation, and you see it at the shows. Like I know that somebody's interested in a card of mine that has something wrong with it, because they want to buy it to try to fix it. So, I mean, the younger people that I've met and talked to, like they don't think anything of this. So it's definitely something that in another 10 years, it's totally going to be accepted in this hobby, whether we like it or not. But I mean, it just continues to grow in popularity. Like people just don't think anything of putting a paste on there or sanding something down or soaking a card and not knowing what the long-term effects are. The only way this won't be a thing is if we find out in a couple years that, oh crap, this ruined the card, which is possible. That might happen. But like, honestly, like what percentage of cards do you think PSA can even catch that they see anything on that have been
0?
cleaned?
I think it's 0.
I
honestly
don't even
know.
try, right?
I don't even know if they try.
But based on the authentication stuff that you're dealing with, I mean, they're catching stuff left and right.
Oh yeah, they're uber focused on the date on the back of a card from a set that it came out of. Anyway, remember back in the day though, like when card trimmers were pariahs, Like, oh, this guy's a card trimmer. Like, oh, he's a card trimmer. You know, shame on him. Now it's like, oh, hey, he's a card trimmer. That's cool. Well,
I should give him a couple of my cards. Maybe does he charge to do this?
Yeah. What's the trimming percentage that I have to pay? If it bumps it up to a PSA 10, I'll have to pay a little bit more of a percentage to this card cleaner and trimmer. Like, it is crazy. And I put my fingers crossed when you said, you know, until a few years when it shows that it ruins cards. Kind of hope it does. I hate to be like that, but that's the only way this gets fixed. Only way this gets fixed is someone tried to clean like a 52 Mickey Mantle, and it jacked it up beyond all belief. That is the only Brady Contenders rookie, which is an auto, which is so jacked, which is even more jacked up than the initial thing, because when you use Kurt's Card Care, that soaking juice on auto cards, it gets rid of the auto. We've seen where cards will get higher grades because they got cleaned up, but the auto is pretty much just faded away. Mm-hmm. Who would collect autos and be like, yep, as long as it's a PSA 10,
it says I don't care. 10, Joe.
Oh, it says investors, it's a 10, there's no problem.
Looking at this exciting new asset class. That's the people buying.
They love the fact that they can't see an auto on an auto card. It is absolutely horseshit. And you know, you're at the end of the day, you're ruining these cards. And I'll tell you, you've used this line before as well, EP. Like, if you have to do something in secret and not disclose that you're doing it, then you know it's wrong. Then you know you shouldn't be doing it. If these card cleaners, and there are some content creators who were A-okay with it as well, if these card cleaners want to clean cards, that's fine. Just let me know you're cleaning the cards. You guys can exchange all your clean cards amongst each other all you want. The people like us, or the people who don't watch this type of content, who don't know about card cleaning, maybe denote it on your, if you think it's fine, just denote it on your eBay listing, because I don't want a clean card. I would give me a PSA 8 with a story, or a 7 or a 6 or whatever with a nice bold auto. Give me that. And don't trick me into buying a cleaned card. I don't want that. Like, this is one that will have the most legs, that we'll talk about probably the most.
Oh, yeah.
Think things are going to, especially when you're manipulating a card that originally had a value of, say, $1,000. Now you're cleaning it to get it to a value of $10,000, and you're soaking it in some juice to get that value out of it. I don't know. Like, this one could be the one that really, really brings down the hobby a little bit.
Manipulating is a perfect word, Joe. That's a great word. God, I love that. That is puts such a point on it. Like, you're manipulating this card. If you're cleaning it, trimming it, whatever, that's manipulating the card. If I remember correctly, what gave us the most whiplash for this whole story was that the story came out about the guy saying thanks to Kurt's Card Care when he got a 10 on a card, just like a week or so after, or something like that. Something else had happened, and then not long after,
that was the Victor Wembanyama 101.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
At PSA.
Yeah, and then not long after that was when the PSA, was probably a few months, is when PSA sent out the thing. If you're okay with cleaning your cards, you want us to clean your cards for you? We can clean your cards. Would you pay for us to clean your cards? And I mean, like,
and they'll use their PSA juice on it instead of the Kurt's Card Care. They'll have their own juice.
Safe for the cards. Tested safe for the cards. Yeah. So I just I'm not sitting here with my fingers crossed hoping a bunch of cards get destroyed because of this. But if it does happen, I guess I wouldn't be that upset about it, just because it would. I know that none of my cards are none of the cards that I personally pulled or whatever they're fine. So, like, I'm okay, but I guess I'd be okay with it if it happened, just because, you know what, this is what the people did. I just it would disappoint me. It would disappoint me that these cards would get damaged.
But that's the only way anything will change, EP.
Yeah.
I'm not way anything will change.
100%. I don't disagree.
Maybe. With that. Because I feel like the problem is there are really no end users for a lot of these anymore. So that would just be a depreciated asset, and it's the price you pay for all the appreciated assets that you have. So, like, because I don't think anybody cares enough about these newer cards that are in slabs, having them and enjoying them, that it will ever make a difference. It's not a big enough percentage of people. They're assets. They just get traded around. I get this. I buy it not because I want it. I buy it because I think it's going to be worth more in a month, or I could flip it today and make more money. So when you have that situation, is anybody even going to care if some of these get ruined?
Plus, there's that time factor too. Does it? How long does it take to destroy the card? Because if you got like a 3-year window,
I mean, nobody will know you cleaned it. So
right?
They don't know.
It's out of your hands.
5 years after you soak a card, they disintegrate. Oh well, I just did mine like 2 months ago, so I got
time.
4 years to get rid of this before the end user gets screwed.
Right.
Just imagine like 30 years from now, those people up in the high end, like trading the Victor Wembanyama Mercury cards back and forth for like millions of dollars and stuff like that. And all of a sudden they're trading back. They'll start looking at the cards and they're like, they're all faded. There's no autograph on it anymore, but they're still trading for like millions of dollars back and forth to each other because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Like that'd be
and because it says 10 on the label, EP.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's all they look at. They don't look at we make that joke all the time. Does anyone actually look at the cards anymore? Yeah. If this ends up ruining an autograph or a card, the entire card, does it matter? The label says 10, so I'm cool with this.
40% of the card may have disintegrated, but it's 10.
It still says a 10. Yeah.
Nobody will know.
Even a card in this case anymore, sir. Nope. It says 10 right on it.
It says 10 right on there.
Okay, so the tough question. Why is it that this hobby has such a short memory and just never holds on to anything more than a very short period of time? Do we have any idea?
It's the same reason that people complain about Panini products, but still buy cases of Panini product. I mean, it's rinse and repeat in this hobby. People have such short-term memory. They don't care. And for these stories in particular, though, I will say it's because we expect everyone to be as educated as we are. And I don't think they are. We're in this bubble. And we get this news. Yeah, we get this news kind of bombarded at us, and we're looking for it. In a lot of cases for stories for the podcast and stuff. So we're like in it. We're inundated in it. Where I think a lot of people, stuff like this doesn't even come close to hitting their radar. And if it does, if they are someone who's keyed in, there is this almost like this shiny object thing that they have where it's the dog chasing the car, and then they see a squirrel and they run off the other direction. Like it's just how most people are. I don't even think in the hobby. I just think how most people are nowadays. Right.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Everything you said, Joe. Those people that are kind of on the edge that kind of see the headlines and kind of notice it a little bit. There are a lot of people that don't even have no clue whatsoever. But the people on that edge, once that new thing comes out, they don't care. They're jumping back on the hype train, and they're on the hype train. I think that is a lot of it is like, and it's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an escape, and you're supposed to like look for the fun stuff and the good stuff and all that sort of stuff. That's why people get excited about downtowns. They get excited about that, all that sort of stuff. And it's very easy when you're in that mindset, as I am very often, as you guys know, very easy when you're in that mindset to just kind of like forget about it or ignore it or just move on to the next new exciting thing and we're just out here trying to have fun. But it's also like it's hurting the fun, right? Like that's the thing. Like what we're doing is we're trying to point that stuff out, but we're out here just trying to have fun in this thing. When things aren't going bad, at least I got my cards. At least I can get that new box of John Russell and get a downtown. But there's just so much
and
stuff dripping off the bottom of it. It's kind of gross.
And if you are a content creator, you want to talk about the newest thing, right? You want to constantly tell the newest story. Like if you're like, okay, this is week 52 of us talking about backyard breaks, you're going to start losing viewers, right? Like people want the newest news every week from you. So you kind of have to move off of some of this stuff. And we ourselves are kind of victims of that. We have a weekly podcast and we talk about the news. People, for some reason come and watch us to give our opinions on the news. We still don't know why they do it, but they do. And they want to hear what we're talking about, the news story that's going on. So it's, when you only have so many minutes to put content out there, some of this stuff is going to be kind of out of sight, out of mind. And I think we're guilty of it as well. While we may bitch about it and text each other about something that happened, I mean, you just have to move on to the next thing sometimes.
there have been times when we've had texts back and forth about, well, we talked about that last week, and there just wasn't enough new news about a topic to bring it up again. We've talked about things before. We have brought it up, but I mean, I think there have been examples of things where, we talked about that last week, and there's not enough new stuff in it to really talk about.
Well, I never bought from Backyard Breaks, so me not buying from them wouldn't matter. But I have not bought anything on Whatnot since then. So, and like, I've gone out of my way to make sure that I don't. So makes me feel a little bit better about it. But if you're still watching, what's a hobby scandal that you remember that you feel like the rest of the hobby's forgotten about? Let us know in the comments. Maybe we'll do another updated version of this show. We could do like
12 of these things.
We probably could, yeah, because people will just look back at the podcast and see what we did 6 months ago and just do those over again every couple months. Yeah, so there you have it. That's all we got for you. I'll see you next week, guys.
Later, boys.
See ya.